and JnBn picking up Keeper of the Light and Darkseer. Interesting to see Keeper picked up so early. I mean, he's definitely not a hero we see as much of these days.
Yeah, he kind of fell slightly out of favor, but I mean, he's still a great hero regardless. I mean, just all of his spells make him so unique and really viable within any portion of the game. Even late game when people are like, oh, free kill, he can still teleport you around the map, so he's a great support to have. But Rubik, oh man, what a beautiful support to have. Just can't stop thinking about the game the other night.
Oh yeah, it's pretty insane. Open division action between two sides that really looking like they don't deserve to be an open division. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time talking about games in the past, but as Robsy points out, it was a really beautiful game to watch, and although a lot of teams are mixed in open division, see a lot of really powerful sides that we've seen in the past, like MFB, LIB, I'm not going to go through them all, but some really strong sides that have found their way into the Premier Division now. There's definitely some players still sitting there that have a lot of talent to show. But yeah, onto this game.
Yeah, so far, the draft from BJB I kind of prefer, just because they got the Gyrocopter, and Gyrocopter is just, he can carry so well that he should always be a first pick. And Coddle and Darkseer, as you said, Coddle's not as favorable anymore. I feel like that may not have needed to be their first pick. But they are still two good heroes on both sides. I'm not too sure who has the upper hand yet. We see Visage and Shadow Demon being banned, both really good supports. I haven't seen much of Visage lately though, in the South African scene at least.
He gets banned out a lot, and I think, in fact, I cast VNR versus Energy last night, and VNR actually picked up the Visage, but it didn't really have a great deal of effect. I mean, Energy were just too strong on the night. But yeah, Phantom Lancer banned out. That's pretty smart. I mean, Phantom Lancer, Keeper of the Light, one of those sort of age-old combinations stemming back from Dota 1, and can be really frustrating. You can't underestimate how much damage a Spirit Lance will do to you if you have unlimited amounts of them.
Cancer of the Light, Cancer Lancer, Phantom Cancer, Keeper of the Cancer. So many different ways to say the combo, I love it.
What about Keeper Cancer of the Light?
Ooh, I like
that doesn't work for you?
Well,
yeah,
I'm guessing it doesn't work for you because
it's a pretty it's a pretty serious topic. We probably shouldn't make too much fun of it. I already got raged at earlier for making a joke, so yeah, you know, sport cancer awareness, all that stuff. Moving right along. Oh, of course, because they have a Jakiro. But remember, Mef gave us a statistic, Darkseer Jakiro, only a 44% win rate together.
And then I gave that statistic that American teams throw really hard, and that's why the number is so low.
But I mean, are you suggesting that Darkseer Jakiro is an American combination?
I'm suggesting that I think it's Team Dignitas play it like all the time, and they throw like half the time, so that's where the 50% comes from. The other 4% is probably just like, you know, Sean trying to play the type of Wisp Jakiro.
Ooh, that being said, Wisp hasn't been picked up. We do see the Chaos Knight. Now that's really interesting, because at this point, if JnBn want to get rid of that combination, they have to pick up Wisp here, because, I mean, they're going for the puck, so are they going to do it? Are we going to see the Wisp pick up? It could work. I mean, you could have the dual lanes are still definitely an option here for BJB.
Yeah, you can run a CK Wisp mid, or rather CK IO mid, and it doesn't look like JnDB are any way prepared for this. And I didn't even notice that Wisp wasn't banned, because it's like, he's always banned.
I mean, a Kothel must freak out a little bit. I mean, he can call somebody to him if he sees it, but it's just so unlikely that he's going to be able to get that off before he gets just poached, and then probably just going to bring a friend to him to die as well if CK does get the farm he requires. But it's really interesting. I had the good fortune of having a conversation with Mr. Happy, that's his more friendly term, but drafter for Bashers, and he spoke about when you do run that with that Wisp IO sort of combination, that you should look for something a little bit greedy. But okay, we see Disruptor coming out, so that sort of changes things. So not too sure we will see the Wisp now, and I think I mean, it's still possible, hey? I mean, you could still see the Rubik and the Chaos Knight sort of, or rather the Rubik and the Gyrocopter laning up together, the CK and Disruptor laning up together, and then Wisp going safe lane or something bizarre like that, but I mean, it seems pretty unlikely now.
Yeah, it really does. I think that they were just not confident enough in their own ability to play IO, which is fine, I completely agree with that. But I don't like CK by himself. I feel like you have a lot better options to go with. And it's going to be a Sven hard carry after the Clockwork and Alchemist were banned out. So pretty good.
Well,
like the ideal situation is Coddle Blast into the Vacuum, into the Ice Path, into the... Well, you know where I'm going from here. It could work for the perfect situation, but yeah, it's a pretty solid draft.
Yeah, and I don't think BJB are going to be too concerned with fighting in that sort of little area though, because they have their own heroes that work pretty well with it. I mean, Gyrocopter, Cooldown, really strong Disruptor, just sort of built for those like close engagements. Rubik able to steal any. I mean, Rubik has got to be pretty happy with this. I mean, there is not a single spell. Actually, no, I lied. Probably the one spell he probably doesn't want is the actually the God Strength. I mean, it's not. It doesn't sound awful already because it will make him hit still pretty hard considering he's a that support can give him a lot, but. A nice array of spells for him to seal. I mean, there's of course Dream Coil, which would be a dream to seal. There's Ice Path, which is so powerful with the lack of. I mean, he has no cast animation, so he just does that instant Ice Path. It's one of the reasons that Jakiro was initially buffed, was because he had the sort of buff to his cast animation, and that made him a viable pickup. So Jakiro with Ice Path is really strong, and I can just go on all day about these great options for him. But BJB probably looking for the offlane here now. There's Clockwork banned out. There's still Weaver in the pool, but going to be OD. Okay. How do they lane this? I'm going to say they're going to have to aggressive try against Jakiro, Kotl, and Sven. It's going to be pretty cold.
They might just go Gyrocopter.
Oh, that's something I've got to ask. Yeah, maybe. But anyways, I need to ask from quickly. Could you bring up a stat on this exact matchup and see which team has the better win percentage? I mean, I really don't think we're going to find it. The chances seem very low with these sort of interesting pickups. You know, thinking hiccups. That's going to be awful. Where these two teams lineups have played each other exactly the same way, it'll be very interesting to see which has the advantage.
Yeah, it is.
Or maybe even just maybe just, and if you can't find that, maybe just grab us some interesting stat about particular heroes versus each other and see how that goes. Because I took a look at that Dota website and realized there was some interesting stuff you can pull out of there. So yeah, cool. Well, let's do it. Moving right along. Let's get straight into the players and who's on what. So
prepare for battle.
Sorry, I'm reading that. Anyways, yeah. Exactly, so just take a look, see what you can get for us, man. And I will just go through BJB and Robsy, if you will be so kind to do JnBn afterwards. So we do have Azrael going to be handling the Chaos Knight, Switchblade and Gyrocopter. Shabli is going to be playing the Rubik, Phoenix on the Outwall Destroyer, and finally Rubilac, playing the Disruptor.
And in the other side of the bush, we have Sphere going to be handling that Coddle. On the dark side, it's going to be Droof. Jakiro, the almighty Jakiro, is going to be played by Dorky. And Xenomath playing that Puck. Shrax, or Cracks, just going to call him Cracks, going to be playing the hard carry, which will be the Sven. And it does look like they're going to be defensive trying this, which is okay. Support should be able to pick up nice farm.
Well, I think BJB are sort of forced in a position where they have to aggressive trialing. They've got to make space somewhere. So Switchblade obviously going to the bottom safe lane. Or we can make our own stats here. We'll be the guys. We'll see the 100% win rate for one of these these lineups. But I think it's going to be difficult. I mean, I gotta say, Jakiro, Kotl, Sven probably beat Rubik, Disruptor and CK mano a mano. One of the big problems, of course, is that CK doesn't have a great mana pool, so he's not going to be able to do this combination multiple times. On the other side, though, you have that Keeper Light going to keep everyone up with mana. Stormbolt, such a powerful spell, so he can essentially just harass with it if he chooses to. And they also have a lot of AoE damage. I mean, all their spells can potentially be AoE spells if they do get fortunate enough. Obviously, the Illuminate pretty much guarantee you're going to hit more than one of you as well. So definitely might want. Oh, actually, look at this. Early engagement by Azrael on Sphere.
Falling very low, nearly half HP. Dual Breath is going to be used from Jakiro. Didn't level that Ice Path first. Xrax now getting into the fight. He does have that Storm Hammer. He can turn this around on Rubik, and there are just shots being traded everywhere. Keep up the light, falling dangerously low. There's going to be the lift. And first blood goes the way of BJB. But now, are they going to get anything else for this, or are they going to lose something for this? Azrael falling fairly low. TP back in from the Coddle. This is definitely not how you wanted this to go down.
Yeah, I was a pretty surprising aggression. I mean, Azrael sort of went on that very far away from the rest of the team. Was, oh, they're rating. This is going to be the lane to watch. I don't think we have an opportunity to cast anything else.
And Shaby now getting right click down. There goes the Dual Breath. Interesting choice again. I need to say this. Lift, and it's a one-man stun. Is that enough? That's not going to be enough. The Coddle Blast is not going to be able to finish off, but one more right click will definitely get that done. So now it's 1-for-1 on this top lane, but that Dorky is falling fairly low. And I'm just going to pop this in here. I've never seen this Dual Breath first before. It's very interesting to me.
Very peculiar, in fact. I mean, Ice Path just offers so much, such a super strong spell. But what I can say is he used it quite a few times very early on, so he's trying to get the most out of it. But this is the concern I have for BJB, is that Azrael no mana at the moment, and although I so desperately want to call him Plumber's X-Rax, let's just go with that to make it a little bit more. The Plumber, that's we're gonna nickname him here. The Plumber is he's gonna just get regened up as much as possible. Also, Azrael pretty much spent. He can't do much else. Let's take a quick look whilst it seems a little bit quieter. We'll just watch the dots and see if they do get involved. But middle lane, Odie, no surprise, a little bit ahead of Puck at the moment. Probably just gonna get. I see them sort of aligning again, so I have to wait.
Oh,
Rubelak ran straight into it.
Rubelak is now in trouble. There finally comes the Dark Path. Ice Path rather. Krax is forced to run the hell out of there. Azrael spent his entire mana pool and he's forced to get back now. More regen is available for Krax, so he will not have too much of a problem in this lane from here on out.
So let's chat about this thing. So obviously this Trident's making things a little bit difficult for the for Krax to actually farm, and he's sitting at the moment only 3 CS. So even if Azrael doesn't get farm, as long as they don't sort of they're gonna fight again. So much anger in this lane.
The problem is
just how we like it.
The problem is that BJB don't have a lineup that can. They're spending a lot of gold on refreshments, shall I say, and that's costing them quite a bit. Because as you can see, Azrael has no more mana, and the other team has a Coddle. So JnBn with a Coddle, so all they need to invest in is some trees to eat, and you're sorted. So I definitely think this extended aggression is going to be favoring JnBn.
Well, generally I would agree with you, but here's the catch, right? Is if you look at the...
There's going to be a stun right on Chaos Knight. Ice Path on top of that. Everything's flying out here. Kinetic Field to contain the aggression. Azrael has to fall back with no regen. Oh, there is a salve and some clarity, so that's going to get popped for Azrael. He'll be fine. Krax now low on HP, and doesn't seem like there's anything going to be flying out to him right away. And there is no more healing for him available, so he has to be careful.
So, what I'm trying to say before we get interrupted by these fights every single time is that completely unmanned. We're gonna have to ask them to pause so we can chat about it. The one thing here is I don't feel that BJB actually have to win this top lane. All they have to do is make sure that both Gyro or rather this was Phoenix and Switchblade have a greater advantage in net worth. As long as they do that, they have 2 farmed carries and somebody who can scale really well later on, whilst JnBn will be sitting with just really the Puck and Darkseer getting something out of it. And even Puck, although I think he's done a fair job middle, he's level 5 against the Phoenix, who's also level 5, which is kind of a big deal. He's obviously not getting a great deal of farm, so it kind of favours BJB in an unusual way.
I guess that's true, but at the same time, if you look at the levels, I mean, that's where it really starts coming in. not both, rather all three of BJB's heroes on this top lane is level 3, and there's going to be the Stormhammer to start things off. The Kinetic Field's thrown as well. Ice Path clips Ezreal. Now the Coddle Blast brings Ezreal really low, and this time he will be running back. Interesting time to pop the Warcry there, but fair enough, fair enough. Ezreal's back in here.
Yeah,
he doesn't even care.
It's kind of awkward. I mean, one thing I must say, credit to this disruptor, Rubelak, doing a really good job with that kinetic field. He's held them back on a couple of occasions where they should have gotten kills if it weren't for that particular spell or
and
another
now
engagement.
Stormhammer and Ice Path, and maybe a bad decision from CK to get himself involved in that. This is going to possibly, yes, it is going to be 3 heroes down in the top lane. Oh my dear, oh my dear. You said they didn't have to win it, but they didn't want to lose it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they could have lost it, but they weren't allowed to feed it. I mean, all of a sudden that really changes things, because, you know, if you look at the net worth, Sven Xrax, he's sitting on 1.6k at the moment net worth, and why that's important is he only has 12 CS, so he's essentially everything he's missed out on, he's now got back from that exact play. But on top of that, you're looking at the support as well. They were all involved in those kills, so even Sphere and Dorky, they're going to really get a lot out of this. And all of a sudden it means that you have 3 players who are far behind 3 other players. So even if was there another engagement? We do see another engagement. Xrax in trouble.
Getting 2 seconds stun. There's a lift. Surely this is a kill. He gets away, going through. Nope, no he doesn't. Fade Bolt to, rather not Fade Bolt, but what's that? The Thunder Clap, Thunder Strike rather. Finishing that off.
Thunder Fade Bolt.
Thunder Fade.
Dragon
Clap.
Thunder Fade Bolt.
Dragon Clap.
Let's go with Hitman, Agent 47 Storm.
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, well, this is just exciting, because, I mean, we look at this, and they pull back the kill, and that's important. They actually needed that, and nice work there. A little bit of miscommunication. We saw Shabley, he actually used telekinesis and pulled him outside of the kinetic field, and even kinetic field felt like it was dropped a little bit early, because the formation time in kinetic field is 1.2 seconds, and the actual telekinesis spell, the lift duration itself is 1.75 seconds. So there's definitely enough time to cast the kinetic field almost late, you know, so as he picks it up opposed to just before, and you get the full duration out of the actual let's say the anti-movement spell of kinetic field, just the inability to pass through the walls. And it's if you time it well, you're getting a lot more out of it. But yeah, we do see
on the bottom lane, Switchblade has finished up his magic wand, which is, I feel like it's a bit of a waste for him to have finished it up. Maybe he just wanted to do it for the sake of doing it. But he did have this bottom lane free farming, so I feel a bit of a misplay there. But apart from that, he is looking good with CS as well as the Obsidian Destroyer in mid. The only thing that you might not like is that Puck is slightly in front of CS from the OD. I mean, not CS, I mean experience. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, I was pointing out earlier that he managed to keep up in CS, and that's kind of one of the core reasons why OD is so good. I mean, obviously with a hero like Puck, he can just steal so much intelligence, and interesting to see, I mean, Puck's, I'm not sure what has happened yet, but Puck's actually sitting out at the, well now of course, he's no longer sitting at it, but he only had 1 charge on him in fact earlier, and I kind of want to see that cast a little bit more. The Phoenix can just sort of harass him down and get that last city ability from Puck down to next to nothing, make a huge difference, and just get those denies and crush Puck as much as possible, and it'll also of course stop him from doing exactly what he just did, which is using that illusionary orb just to secure some farm.
So OD has no mana.
This is exactly what happens to me when I play Obsidian Destroyer. Outworld Devourer, excuse me. Essence Aura has a 30% restore chance, right? On top of that, you have to bear in mind that every single time you use the actual...
And Kinetic Field holds him in, and it basically all the abilities flew slightly, and now Ezreal says, what's up, man? 1 second stun, Fade Bolt, that's going to be a death of the twin-headed dragon. Now Krax is on the run, as well as Coddle. They're just going to back up behind the creep line and try again in a couple of seconds, I'm guessing.
Well, that's really good, and we do see rotation here from a... Is that an invis hasted Puck? Okay, that's just mean.
But fortunately, OD is also here, so I don't know what's going to happen top. Now Krax is going to be involved here. There goes the blinding light. Stun already thrown out. Phoenix is rather doing some stuff out here. And here's going to be the ulti from OD. Now they're looking to make this into a couple kills. Dream Coil gets thrown. Azrael dropping low. Azrael's going to fall fairly soon. It's a 3-for-1 trade at the moment. The Illuminate goes off. Triple kill for Xenomorph. And OD falls as well.
Middle tower.
Yeah, I mean, the difference maker there, I mean, we can talk about the fight all we like, but there's one thing that changed the entire scenario. 5 people rotating top for JnBn and Switchblade just opting to sit in the bottom lane and farm up. There wasn't much opportunity for them to do anything different though there. They were able to TP to that tier 1 tower because they were fought right on top of the tier 1 tower. But even if Switchblade had opted to come in, he would have had to run a long way to get involved. And I think that basically it almost took his best option just to sit there and farm. But it's a very big loss for BJB all the same. And they're even giving up their tier 1 tower. So a nice gain there for JnBn. And we like to call it, I'm going to call it one of those moments of the game that I think that and the triple kill on top, probably 2 moments that are going to have quite a big impact on this game.
Yeah, we'll have to see what type of impact that is going to bring, because you do still have a Gyrocopter farming bottom lane. Even though I don't like his build for farming freely, I mean, he's still farming freely, and he is still sitting at the top of CS, top of net worth. Not to him though, that's going towards the puck, and as it is the 10-minute mark before we get distracted by middle lane and a disconnection, there should be a pause.
They're going to pause, so whilst we wait for the pause, let's go through it. I mean, little shy of 3k advantage at the moment to JnBn in form of XP, and the gold graph a little bit healthier, just over 3k. So healthy, definitely notable at this early stage of the game, and it's really just that last team fight though. I mean, there was nothing in it before, and all of a sudden just that huge drop. So that's definitely a big moment. I mean, I think there's been 2 drops here. You can see with the just before those 3 kills, and obviously now with that four-man wipe.
I think a concerning thing
looking
is
mid.
still mid lane. Dream Coil on a wisely. Man, I need to find out what this ability is called. There we go, Astral Imprisonment. Nice imprisonment there. Xenomorph has haste again.
Oh wow,
that's strange.
That was very close. He waited phase shift and he almost got picked up. Fortunately he reacted very quickly and blinked out the way, but if he was picked up there, even with haste, he was in a huge amount of trouble, because of course they would have been side connect field, telekinesis, had Thunderstrike on him, a lot of damage going to be dealt by Phoenix at the moment, so probably would have been fortunate to escape with his life there.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to see most likely an engagement in the bushes as Dorky and Rubelak see each other out. The Ice Path flies, it's gonna connect onto Disruptor. Now he takes a full deal breath to the face. The Thunderbolt, oh, I don't know what, I give up. And that's gonna be Puck cleaning up 1 kill, but Call Down doing a lot of damage. Puck unable to get out of that, now he does. And Droof also getting taken down. That's gonna be the death of the Rubik as well. Strax wants this kill, Switchblade just getting out of range there. So fortunate for them not costing it too much. Another trade going the way of JnBn, which is definitely not what BJB want right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because even though they picked the kill, they weren't able to kill a carry.
Stormhammer on Disruptor. Coddle, oh, that's a lot of damage. And God Strength actually popped there, but he's running away with it. Fairly interesting. Rubelak is going to have to get out of here somehow. He's going to just salve up back into the lane. We see a lot of damage getting pushed onto Sphere. He's trying to blinding light out of this. He won't be able to though. That's just going to finish him off. The ulti from OD actually pushes Sven off the lane at the same time. Xenomorph now here as well. Probably just going to head back to the... I don't know where he's going, but he's going back to mid, yeah.
What I like from BJB is they're making sort of good decisions on when to commit to a fight. We've seen in all these situations, including the one top we spoke about earlier, the carries for BJB haven't overcommitted. We didn't see the rotation there from Azrael. He just sat there and said, look guys, you got to deal with it for a bit, I'm going to pick up my farm. We also saw of course, Phoenix actually did rotate in that fight, but he did so in a manner that actually was very effective for him. Picking up the kill, we saw a huge amount of damage from Sandy's Eclipse. And what that's done is meant he's going to get a little bit closer to that mechanism. I think I would have liked to see it maybe at the 12-minute mark, but all the same, he's going to have it fairly soon. Oof, Rubelak really low here. He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and TPs are coming out, and these players are just living life on the edge. Rubelak has been standing there for a fairly long time, or at least has been low HP for a fairly long time. Something that we have to point out is that, well, Xenomorph has his Blink Dagger. I don't know, I think he's had it for a while maybe, but that's a very quick Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he got it after that fight when he was involved in those 4 kills. Surprise, surprise, I guess. You know, kind of expected after that. So, I mean, let's just take a look. I can tell by the gold graph. Does it about 10 minutes. So he's had it for a good 4 minutes already.
And the star might fall. There's a casual cooldown. That is a 60-second cooldown. Well, effectively 50-second cooldown. But the problem is now they really don't want to fight for a minute or so. And they may be called to defend their tower, because now Krax wants to go on here. Switchblade gets stunned up. Rubik's going to throw the pickup, and the Coddle Light goes slightly wide. Krax throws his God Strength, and that should be the tower falling. They really should look at dedicating a bit more to this. The missile is going to fly onto Droof, and that should hit any time. Now, what a beautiful steal from Rubik, and that's a 3-man steal wall. This is going to be very dangerous. The vacuum wall kind of off there, but Ice Path able to catch one, and now Crack's going to fall down. Azrael doing fairly well to finish him off there, and Dorky struggling a bit, and so is Droof. Someone else fell there. Well, Sven Coddle? I don't know who fell last, but Puck also getting involved and back to the lane. Azrael taking a lot of damage. May have overextended here. He's going to pick up 1 kill. He won't be able to pick up another. So 4 for 3 trade. Still not favoring BJB. Another trade goes the way of JnBn.
Yeah, I mean, it was just too much aggression, really. Phoenix on that Obsidian Destroyer, Outwall Devourer, he kind of stuck around for longer than he should have, and he just got picked up by Xenomorph pretty easily. And then, of course, Azrael, he didn't realize the Puck was there at the beginning, so he thought, oh, okay, I can pick up 2 kills here, but instead, only picking up 1 and getting killed himself. And something else supports, or no, not a lie, it was on Darks here, so not a sport, but just not worth it, I don't feel. Although, I guess he's playing the same role. I mean, I guess CK in this game is that number 3, so not the worst, I guess. But once again, it feels that like every single fight, they're just dropping a little bit further behind. They keep losing a little bit more. And I mean, let's just take a look at the actual gold graph. You can see once again, it sort of plateaued for a bit and then dropped down for 5k. So every single time they've been fighting, they've just been going further and further behind, and that's not what they need. They need to. Ooh,
and
this
now
is
CK
pretty
is
decent.
looking to engage. He's going to go on Fear. The cooldown there as well. Shavely now falling very low. Cooldown's going to do a lot of damage. Isn't enough? They pick up 1 for 1 at the moment. Xenomorph gets forced off the way beautifully, but he gets called back by the Disrupt there. Now Trax is getting involved here. There's the OD Ultimate. The Ice Path lands on only 1, but Azrael is going to be falling down. He is unable to pick off the 1 kill. Switchblade now in a bit of trouble. Puck blinks forward with DD, unable to get that kill. The surge from Dorky, and now Darkseer staying around a bit too long. Droof is going to have to run away from this. The large, very scary attack animations from Outworld Devourer are going to scare him off reasonably well.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, the last fight. I think it could have gone a lot better for BJB. Reblack dropped his Static Storm a little bit too late. Probably would have silenced out the Puck, pick up the kill on the Puck as well, would have made a big difference. But the real question I have here is, Phoenix has been so close to that mechanism for so long, and it would have made such a big difference if they had it in these last fights. And I just got to ask, like, why not just wait for Phoenix to pick up that mechanism first, and then start these fights? Because if you look at even that very last fight, I think mechanism would have meant the difference between losing 3 heroes for a couple and simply picking up quite a couple here. So
yeah, and now Coddle has mech.
Yeah, so it's essentially been undone. For a Keeper of the Light, it's pretty impressive, but once again, they got so much out of the top lane.
Look at this push potential. They just wiped that lane, that creep wave, very easily, and this is going to be another tower for them, because I don't think they want to defend what was stolen. What was stolen, it's Steel Breath. So, good spell with no attack animation, I guess.
Fast animation, but yeah, you're right. Pretty decent, but I think he really wants the Ice Path. It's of all the spells that you could steal, I think probably as far as non-ultimates go, you know, Illuminate, Ice Path, Stormbolt, probably the ones that he really wants. Stormhammer these days. So,
A bigger problem at the moment is that Sven is getting fairly close to his BKB, and there's going to be a 3-man vacuum. What are they going to look at doing here? There's going to be an ulti thrown up by Xenomorph. 2 men stunned up. Coddle Blast hits only 1. Static Storm kind of used there on just Dorky. He's going to be able to mech out of that fairly easily. He gets stunned up, not really caring too much. Beautiful steal from Rubik there, taking off the Dream Call from the man himself, the Zeno. And our Crack says, "What's up, people?" Beautiful. Beautiful imprisonment there from the OD. And now Xenomorph immediately goes back and he stuns up. God Strength use, Call Down use. That's gonna... they really want to chase. Vacuums back, Switchblade down, a bit of trouble. Beautiful Ice Path. Lands perfectly, but the kinetic field is gonna hold them in. But won't hold them in enough. The Sven is on a killing spree. Picks up 2 heroes fairly easily there. That is the power of the Sven cleave. That's 4 points in cleave. He really wants to take out this entire team immediately. And now push back to the tier 2 tower, and mech being popped.
I gotta say, I've been waiting for all the action to die down. So I can just say there was something that I found very disappointing in the last play. So many of JnBn's heroes were caught out. In fact, is that being... Yeah, so... Anyways, I was just reading that stat, but so many heroes were caught out in that Dream Coil, static or kinetic field of JnBn. It was the perfect time to drop cooldown, and it just wasn't followed up. And then he sort of cast it right at the end when they were just able to walk out and no follow-up damage available. So pretty disappointing there. And what it's meant is they've lost their tier 1, they've lost some heroes, and they're also going to lose Roshan. I mean, that's pretty much a huge... I mean, that's a huge point in any game when you can get so much out of a sort of 2-3 minute window.
Yeah, and I mean, they're gonna again. The Gyro's farm has just slowed down way too much. He's now sitting below the Coddle. The Gyrocopter is below the Coddle. He still doesn't have his BKB, whereas Sven now has it. He just bought the recipe, and CK fairly far away from his BKB as well, opting out of going drums, which I think is a big deal. Drums would give them a nice early game feel. It would allow them to chase easier and just give that boost and those auras that really are great. And it just feels like all these items are a bit late. From the mech up to the BKBs coming out for both these carries.
I think another massive problem for BJB is the support is sitting under K gold net worth. I mean, it's 21 minutes in, and they just have absolutely nothing. And if you compare that to the support on the side of JnBn's, they're both sitting at over 4k, both at around 4.5. It's such a huge difference. And when one team support can offer so much, was top of
there's going to be a surge, there's going to be a Stormhammer. Azrael's down, a lot of trouble. There's a God Strength mode going out here. Azrael with the Ice Path, with the Vacuum. That's going to be the end of him. Wow, this is turning out bad and bad and bad.
Yeah, it's kind of been this, I would like to say slow snowball, but it really hasn't been. It's if you look at the point in the game and they're sitting at a 10k advantage, it's 500 gold a minute. They're just getting ahead, and it only seems to be getting worse. That graph just seems to be going more and more steadily towards that, you know, to the red, if you will. So I think this is... I mean, I don't want to call GG this early on when no racks are down, and you know there's not a huge item on any of the other heroes for JnBn, but it really is starting to look like the JnBn show.
Huge items. You have a 4-staff getting completed on both supports essentially, a mech on the Coddle, and Strax just picked up his BKB. And is sitting on a Morbid Moth. These are some fairly big items, I'd say. Compared to what the other team has, I think that this game, unless there's some fantastic turtle that's about to happen, and some throws from JnBn, I don't see how BJB are going to bring this back.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. I think that it's JnBn would have to outdo themselves to lose from here. It's such a massive advantage, and once again, I think it's the support that is the real problem, because although there's a significant advantage on 1, 2, and 3 for BJB, it's the fact that the advantage on the support is horrific. I mean, it's the advantage on that say Kotl has over Rubik is more significant than the advantage that Doxia has, or rather that even the Puck has over Outwall Devaro. So it's insane.
Not only that, I feel like it was kind of a mistake from BJB because they had a lineup that as soon as Mech came up for OD and BKB was finished on Gyrocopter, not even if you didn't want to rush BKB, you could have gone Drums Ring of Aquila, or even CK going Drums, him going Ring of Aquila. If they got these key items up and then finished up their BKBs before dedicating themselves to big team fights, I feel like this would have been a different game. But mech was done extremely late, essentially as Kotl finished up his mech, and that's really just not good enough if you're playing in mid OD.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think we are sort of getting towards the closing moments here, and hopefully, I'm just starting to say, like, hopefully game 2 we'll see a more. I don't want to say interesting. It just feels that this game has been.
Throws a storm bolt, but I just felt like Krax was soloing there, and this could be the death of Krax. He just drops the Aegis. Bit of a wasted Aegis. It still had some time on it. It still had a good 2 minutes.
Yeah, it did seem to be really thrown away. I mean, he was looking for that just, you know, force the initiation onto him, but instead he just seemed to die to sort of peripheral spells and the tower. And considering that there is a mechanism up, he would have regened pretty decently, just, you know, if you're taking, say, like half his HP, would have been good for another fight.
Is under attack.
Hey, remember that time that we argued that the missile doesn't give gold?
It does give gold, and I didn't argue. I simply said I don't know, and I checked it, and it does indeed give gold.
Remember that time when
that's what you're gonna say, isn't it?
Jakiro is the best hero ever.
You know what's really annoying me? Jakiros keep winning, right? And don't get me wrong, right? I'm the biggest fan of dragons, and I look at this and I say, well, they have both fairy dragon and they have twin-headed dragons, so I'm all in favor of dragons doing well. But it really does seem that every single time we see a Jakiro, it wins.
I told you, man, he's the best hero, unless you throw. Hence the low win rates.
God, no,
and whoa!
Oh, nice phase shift.
And there it goes again onto Jakiro. 2 seconds stun. He's getting blown up. He gets blown up. Cooldown now on top of Drift. The BKB is popped for Azrael. He can really just walk out of that Dream Coil. Chooses not to. Now Krax uses his God String. That's so much damage. How can they get out of this? Switchblade falls from 1. The silence comes out a bit too late. And now, oh my goodness, Krax is just going ape on these people. He gets the 2 second stun. Now he could be falling down. He's dropping very low. He gets forced off out. That's not good enough. He's going to be falling. Now the fight could be turning around. Xenomoth throws out the silence. A bit of right click damage. It's going the way of Phoenix. He's forced to get out of there. And Kotoblast flying as well. OD is low. All these heroes are low. So that fight seemed to go their way. But just the pure fact that they didn't have enough damage to do enough damage to all of them. Now 2 TPs right in the middle. There's a beautiful imprisonment from OD. This should buy enough time. There goes the stun, and just a bit of misplay there from Xenomoth. Unable to get his spaceship off and in time. Not sure if that was on cooldown, but could have saved it.
It's not even about the phase shift. That's to Helbert's trying to be nice here and professional. It's a little bit unfortunate that Mr. Xenomoth was unable to blink, considering that Astral Imprisonment does last for 4 seconds, and a blink, even if you've taken damage, has, I think it's a 3-second cooldown? It is indeed a 3-second cooldown, so absolutely no reason why he shouldn't have been spamming that blink dagger to escape. So surprising, let's say that much. Maybe, I know May doesn't miss a thing, so maybe it was on cooldown, but I can't imagine why it would have been on cooldown.
Maybe he tried to dodge a tower attack. He seems to be that type of player. And that's nothing against him, but he's just been using like his phase shift at the most obscure times.
Yeah, I think we can just say call it as it's a misplay, and I would like to say a pretty costly one, but really they're so far ahead that it is.
I don't know. I said that Jin didn't have to throw quite heavily, and they just lost 2 of their core heroes. Well, their only core heroes.
They did take a tier 2 tower. Well, they did throw away that Aegis. I mean,
yeah, throw away Aegis.
Tier 3, excuse me, yeah.
And Rax is still on down, so not too much was lost, considering that Switchblade is getting his BKB in a couple of waves. And once that BKB goes up, it could change a little bit.
So,
Never mind, Crystal is finished on Sven.
oh, and you know what's one thing you got to compliment both Druth and X-Rax on, or Cracks, is that both these players have been combining pretty well with their abilities. The Vacuum and Stormbolt has been pretty effective so far. We've seen a couple of good ones. But, I mean, yeah, if they can get one good version of that all for the Chrysalis, they can pretty much give 3 heroes. I mean, I'd expect that none of the support are going to survive. And if they are targeting, say, the Gyrocopter in that fight, very likely to pull on the Gyro as well. So, one good vacuum into nice crit, probably GG. I mean, that's what BJB are faced with at the moment. We're popping recall from bottom as well.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And, are they going to look to engage? I think it might be slightly dangerous to engage at the moment. Actually, Sven God's Strength gets lifted up. He doesn't have BKB. There goes the BKB, and he's going to be able to capitalize on this. Rublack falls in just 2 hits. And Xenomar stealing that kill fairly easily, and they look to give this tower away, just waiting for God's Strength to fall down. Now cooldown comes slightly late, there's nothing else to hold them there. Now Dorky, there goes a big OD ultimate, they're going to be able to pick up one. Well, how many more can they get? BKB gets popped for the CK, back in the back of the fight. Now, oh my, Sven falls as well. Xenomorph now in a bit of trouble, he's going to get right-clicked down by Phoenix. Xenomorph's running for his up, he's going to get Sanity's, rather not Sanity's Eclipse. And will the timing work? The timing... Wow, that's actually fairly good. He's able to blink out. He's not able to blink out. He gets destroyed.
Why?
And oh my.
I don't understand.
Okay, that time Blink Dagger wasn't cooldown.
No, it's not possible. Phase Shift has a 3.2. No, I was watching that time.
Okay.
I was watching that time. Phase Shift was. I mean, Blink Dagger wasn't cooldown. I mean, Phase Shift has a 3.25 second cooldown. Oh, duration, excuse me. There's no reason in the world that you shouldn't do it. One of the big things about Phase Shift as well is that, and something that I've spoken quite a bit to, like, some of the players in Who's Harry, is that when you Phase Shift, you can literally spam Blink Dagger. So even if it's in cooldown, you will blink directly back towards base. And in a position like this, I'm just going to sort of go over here whilst top tower gets taken. He's sitting over here. So
Stormhammer thrown in Azrael, and there's a TP right on top of him. The cooldown hits 3 heroes. Are they going to be able to capitalize on this? There goes the vacuum. There goes the blinding light. The BKB is popped from his cracks. He's looking for Shabley. Shabley's probably just going to die for this. He won't mind. A BKB and ulti. I think that's a good trade. BKB now on like 7 seconds. Oh my goodness, that's bad.
BJB are doing quite a nice job of defending this, gotta be said. They've lost 2 tier 3s, but their racks on mint conditions, so that's what really matters. And I mean, they're kind of catching up, may I add. I mean, all of a sudden, although the support once again are just so far ahead, we have the Gyro now exceeding the Keep of the Light and net worth, and the distance between the carries previously has been severely hammered away. So we do see Chaos Knight all of a sudden coming back from the depths of sort of in obscurity, rather. He's sitting just behind the puck, just behind the Sven. I mean, gotta say, X-Rax got that advantage, got the cleave really effective against hero like CK, but there's actually a huge amount of AoE which is going to be effective against CK, but CK going his way back in regardless, and Outward Devourer, he's got his Magnum, he's got his 4-star, almost got his BKB. Once that happens, it'll be interesting to see what he goes for. Probably going to see that Scythe device come up, and when that does, that's still a huge amount of damage to heroes. And even though there's a lot of sort of intel items picked up on the support, it's still pretty significant. But all this being said, Roshan being taken again, and even Scythe device picked up on Xenomath, so now BJB are going to have to outdo themselves to defend against this.
My Gyrocopter has chosen to go for Yasha, and I pray that it doesn't become a Manta, but I know that it is. And I really don't like Manta on Gyrocopter, especially against this lineup.
Well, normally speaking, I would be more than happy to preach the good usage of Manta and why it's such a good item. But I actually have to say, in this lineup, I gotta agree with you to some degree, because Manta, although it's a very powerful item, it's not gonna do a great deal here. I mean, maybe pick up the casual Yasha because it's still a good item, but then go for something up because your illusions are going to get melted instantaneously by this lineup. And when you're in the position that you're in, maybe looking for something a little bit more. Oh wow, look at this bottom. Azrael picking up Dorky.
Gets out Dorky, and Dorky's gonna fall quite freely there, but Azrael gets pushed up onto the high ground. He's forced to pop BKB and pop his illusions. Now Strax is stunned up. Oh my goodness, a lot is happening. ODL gets thrown out. Dorky is still alive somehow. Azrael now falling fairly low. He's gonna be backing off. The wall gets dropped. He's gonna walk straight through that, and Switchblade doing the damage that he can. That MOM is really costing Sven a fair bit of damage, and top barracks at the same time gets pushed down by Xenomart. They're gonna have to choose which they want more. Do they want to go for the team fight? But they're not gonna team fight. JnBn can just chill with this, and top barracks is slowly falling down. Finally the reaction comes out, which means that they'll probably leave out bottom tower. Puck finally gets the phase shift into blink correct, so that's going to help him out a bit, but he's just going to go back to the previous wave and chill there for a little bit of time. Cracks now pushing down that tower with his BKB and ulti on cooldown. I don't think that they're especially keen for a fight here, but I think that they will get this tower if there isn't a big play from BJB.
Man, I'm just gonna say I watched top again. Xenomath phase shift on cooldown, tanked a rocket. There's no real reason to do it because phase shift, he was never gonna fight another 6 seconds, and phase shift of course costs no mana, so no reason not to. I gotta say, I think if Puffy's watching, maybe you can have a little chat to Xenomath about how to phase shift Laguna blades and stuff, because being maybe a little bit overly critical, I think that I would like to see him just doing a little bit better with those phase shifts, especially the phase shift into Blink Dagger.
Yeah, just a little bit better. You can tell he's not 100% keen on this Puck hero, since he hasn't been getting everything spot on. Not that I blame him, but Puck is a very difficult hero, but if you really want to reach that next level gameplay, then you really have to sort out these small things first. Daedalus.
I don't think oh, that's huge. It's just, oh, it's so difficult, and one of the big sort of problems, as I just sort of look over to
And
buyback
Agonus.
at the moment. Agonus?
Yeah, on
whom?
Darkseer.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. I mean, really powerful item on him. Actually, a little bit underrated, I feel.
But you were speaking about buybacks.
I was gonna say is that BJB, they have to try and save for buyback. They're forced in a position where they need to defend their axe. But JnBn, there's no real threat of them being racked at this point, so they can just freely buy items, spend money as they have it, because even if they die, the worst that can happen is they'll lose a couple of outer towers. So at this point, can really live freely and living the high life here.
And by the way, I just saw that Vlad's was picked up by Jakiro, so Strax is now also going to have that extra bit of... now he's going in BKB, and that's 2 hits. Gone, nearly picking up a double kill from just 2 hits. And at the back of the lines, Azrael trying to do what he can. He's going to do some damage. This is going to be enough. 3 second stun. Dream Call goes out. Now the cooldown as well. They could be able to pop the Aegis here. The wall gets popped off, and now Azrael burning out fairly quickly. He's forced to run the hell away with his BKB popped. Cracks now just going to work down that tower. The fortification's used, and OD's still happy to be top. I kind of disagree. He should have been involved in that fight slightly earlier. Bit of miscommunication, I feel, and now he's going in at the most awkward time. The OD LT gets popped. He's going to burn fairly quickly. BKB is now popped him, and Azrael joining the fight as well. Forced up from the Jakiro, and now Jakiro falls as well. Xenomart going to fall as well, and now the hunt is on Azrael, looking for more kills. No mana on the Droof. He has enough for Surge, and he doesn't choose to Surge himself. He surges himself, and the stun flies out on the Coddle, and Sven falls as well.
Rocket. Homing missile level 4, very rare, but that's secured him a pretty important kill, and that's 2 rockets. That is 800 damage flying towards Droof at the moment. He's going to survive it, but this is going to hurt, man.
One. Oh, this is annoying.
I think they could pick him up here. Oh, that is... Dude, there's a 4-star on Phoenix. He could have followed up.
I think that
got
they
in
can
the
pick up the
Astral
tower
as well. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty huge. All of a sudden, BJB, we said they had to really do something special, and JnBn had to almost underplay. They had to really throw the game, but all of a sudden, I mean, let's take a look at the gold draft. This is pretty interesting stuff. I mean, wow, look at that. BJB are managing to hold out against over 15k advantage at the moment in only 37 minutes. It's a very significant number. And let's take a look at the XP. The XP is there's absolutely nothing in it. There's 2.5k, which, sorry, this stage of the game just does not mean much. And net worth, it's actually, once again, it just seems to be almost stabilizing at the moment. But what this does mean is that the 3 core heroes of BJB are filling up slots 3 to 5, which is pretty decent. They're not far behind the puck anymore, not far behind the Sven. One big fight could change all of that, and all of a sudden we may see JnBn in a very difficult position.
Another Manta for Chaos Knight. I really, really hope this isn't going to be an ultimate or pickup from Switchblade. He may just be saving for buyback, but I really hope he doesn't go Manta. That would be such a silly decision. Something worth mentioning is that the 3 cores from BJB are the second highest level on the game. So that is quite a good thing, but then again their supports are the 2 lowest levels. Not so great. But then again, like, these supports are doing what they can when they can. I would like to see slightly better static storms coming out from the Disruptor, from Rubelak. These I may be referring slightly earlier than where we are now, but I feel like he made a few misplays on this hero. But I mean, the problem is that you win a team fight, you push out, okay, but now you have to defend again, and that just means that all that BJB can do is wait until JnBn make another mistake. After, if they win one more team fight, then I feel like this game may be slightly more even, because then we might see that second big item getting picked up on both the carries, which will be fairly important. And I don't think, just gonna clarify this, I don't feel like Switchblade should pick up the... What did you just... He got a TP scroll. I don't feel like he should go Divine Rapier. It's not the game for Divine Rapier.
I mean,
I just see him saving up and I'm kind of scared.
Look, you know, when you're in this sort of position, I think as a Hail Mary, Divine Rapier is a pretty good decision if you have to make the change. But I'd agree to some degree, because JnBn are not breaching the space easily. They've bounced off the tracks a lot. One has to remember that they were at, at some point there was 10 kills to around about 20, I believe. So there's definitely been an advantage in kills being picked up here to BJB. And I'm gonna have to wait because we're gonna see an engagement. Look at them just destroy that Drax though.
They have to TP. Phoenix is still not bottom. Now they're gonna engage on BKB popped, and now Ezreal is gonna take so much damage. He pops his BKB as well. And where is Odie? That is the question. Odie's still farming up top. Phoenix is going to lose his team an entire Rax. Phoenix, what are you doing? Get back here. Crack's now going to take a lot of damage. Ice Path, beautiful Ice Path, going to clean him up. Blad's just doing too much. Connect Field able to hold him out. Rubelek taking a lot of damage. Switchblade pops his BKB and has to fall back. So much damage getting done by those illusions. And still Odie at the top lane with full mana and full HP. What are you doing? Get to help your team. Do something. Now full bottom Rax has fallen. And oh my goodness. What is going on? Now they're looking at middle Rax. Phoenix is now finally coming into the game. He's going to do some damage. He gets stunned up. 2-man stun. Ice Path slightly misses. Now the OD Eclipse goes out. 1 kill. Will there be another one? He's now focusing on the Sven. Puck getting involved here. Puck has to get out of there fairly soon. Dream Call and then get out. And pushed and stunned twice, and Xenomoth back in the fight. He's gonna be able to, should be able to TP out of this, otherwise he's in a bit of trouble. Yeah, he's dead. Another misplay, but now a bit too late from the OD.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. What's happening at the moment is OD's committing himself to defend top Rax from Puck, and it's true that Puck's pretty strong and can be very difficult for the likes of Rubik to defend against it. But at the same time, you know, I'd rather suggest that you just swipe the team, because there's no doubt in my mind that if there was a Sanity's Eclipse cast in that bottom fight, that we would have seen a huge amount of deaths and very few kills on BJB. Although look
Phoenix
at the situation
to make a play. Beautiful. Oh, that was a bit of a weird one. Now they're gonna look up to clean this. They're gonna look to clean this up. Weird BKB pop from Phoenix. In fact, very weird. They should be looking at getting out here with the Sven back up. Sven is now teleporting right in here. He's gonna look to make a chase, and the Phoenix, he's not playing as well as I want him to. And Manta was finished up on the Gyrocopter, which makes me cry.
Yeah, it's, as we talk about, I mean, I do believe that Manta is a super powerful item, but I just don't know if it was the right item here. I mean, I think that maybe an MKB in this case may have been a really sort of powerful pickup, because he is able to sort of stand at the back and deal damage, but these illusions are just... There's so much AoE that does not have to be anywhere near Gyro that'll just destroy it. He's not incredibly tanky. He's sitting at just under 2k HP, and of course with increased damage that Plant Illusions take, you know, a Storm Bolt, Illusionary Orb probably can clear it out pretty easily, and of course Cleave is just going to melt it if he does go head with
As Real spots out Cracks, is he going to do something about it? The BKB has popped, and now Cracks is going to town on Azrael. The Ice Pot flies a bit too late now. BKB popped on CK. Are they going to make this happen? There goes the Reality Rip. There goes the 3-second stun. Will Cracks fall? Cracks falls. And now Phoenix is trying to make something else happen. That is big. That is super, super big. Bottom top lane, rather, Switchblade going on top, but Xenomath not going to get the stun. Xenomath choosing to stay in here. He could be in a bit of trouble. G-Coil and Mech Pop, that's one kill. Are they going to get the Switchblade? Switchblade very low, still not dead. Now he's going to die. And Puck falls as well. Azrael into this fight now. Druteful is taking a lot of damage. He's going to be able to surge out in just a moment, but is there a Reality Rift? Is there? He's going to be in imprisonment for now. Okay, that's a dead Drew. Wall gets popped for old time's sake. Mid lane, Jakiro? No. Mid lane's pushing in. Like,
Jakiro wisely backing off.
Yeah. Reality Rifts are creep.
And this is a very significant moment, because take a look at net worth. All of a sudden, I say all of a sudden, this has been a long time coming. Really, Phoenix head of the curve, sitting at 15k, a little bit higher than Sven, and it's BJB from an absolutely horrible place. It's got to be said, they are definitely back in this game. The bottom rack's obviously going to be a massive thorn on their side. All their racks exposed, so they have a huge amount of work to do. And don't get me wrong, there's still a massive gold advantage in the favor of JnBn, but it's still got to be said, as they pick up this Roshan, I'm actually sort of favor JnBn. They're still the team to win, but they just have really done... They've really struggled to base break.
I really feel like they've thrown this. Because, as I said, I'll mention it again. BJB had to play very well, and JnBn had to play very badly for this game to go in the manner which it has gone. And I just feel like with all the misplays from JnBn, I mean, yes, OD has played kind of horrifically at moments. He's also made a lot of plays happen, but Cracks getting caught out in a position he should never get caught out. I mean, he went in the opposite direction of his team. I was just pointing this out to the viewers a second ago. I feel like you can't make that type of mistake, no matter how farmed you are, because you can never take on 5 heroes alone. But again, a little mistake is, did you see how much damage Manta did?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wanted to point out earlier that CK picked, he's completed his Manta as well, but if you saw when he went toe to toe with X-Rax or Cracks, he lost his illusions instantaneously. They did not last the first crit, and the problem is that they now spend a lot of money on items that aren't supplying a great deal, and it's going to happen again. And especially for CK, who he essentially almost, I mean, he's got a pop Phantasm. It makes him a lot harder to target, but they've got to use it intelligently now. They've committed to these items, and they've got to make sure that they're not just getting burnt down by AoE and burnt down by that Sven. It's got to be used very smartly in the next couple.
And as top lane, being called on catching out, the Manta gets popped. So what I want to mention is, because Sheepstick is now done on the OD. The big thing is, if they get all these Mantas off and they get to focus down the Sven very early, then it's a good item choice. Then they can do something with it. But they really have to take down Sven essentially immediately, because that's the only damage that BJB have to worry about. If they can just pull the Sven from a Reality Rift, chicken him before he gets his BKB popped, and then he can basically die with that amount of illusions. Like, you should be able to kill him before chicken wears off.
I mean, it's true, because although Sven he does a lot of damage, he's only sitting at although that's a huge amount wasted on an illusion, so all of a sudden working out.
4 seconds, and that's over. Extract's falling very low now. Pipe gets popped, and Ezreal's BKB now gets popped. OD ulti on top of Top Gun, and now everyone's dying. This is what I was talking about, the perfect engagement. Unfortunately, Sven is back. Where is the Sven? Sven is chickened up, and he's going to fall down without taking a Rax. Will the Illusions finish it off? The Illusions finish it off. Now Xenomorph getting involved here as well. He's going to pop fairly quickly. Phoenix very low on HP. Triple kill for Azrael. And this is what I was talking about, man. This is what I was talking about. What beautiful play from BJB to hold out on that chicken until after the Aegis pop.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I mean, if they did not have that Aegis, I think Cheese also not used on the puck, got destroyed before he could even use it. But once again, Aegis has been the sort of deciding factor so far. That's what sort of kept them. And this is going to sound very alarming, but they've gotten their racks off the back of their BKB, off the back of their Aegis, and it's the difference maker so far. And this being said, they're still 15k ahead of BJB.
Reality Rift onto the Coddle, and maybe Azrael getting a bit too greedy here. Puck buyback, the storm, the bolt flies. That's just gonna be a bit of an annoyance there. If they're gonna back off here, they just mustn't get too greedy. There's still that top tower and bottom tower tier 1. They don't have to bolt down the middle lane and just pick up creep kills. I feel like the towers on the side lanes, they would have definitely have been able to get both if they just sent Gyro to the one and CK to the other, and that would have brought in 2k gold from the team.
Yeah, I think they need the racks as well. So I mean, we at this point in the game, it's kind of to force the buyback at least in the puck. That's decent, and of course that does shoot him down quite significantly. I mean, if you look at the net worth, it hasn't moved for JnBn, but all of a sudden, top 3 heroes in the game with net worth, all BJB players, and the difference at the moment between the gold is from the support. And once again, looking at this gold graph, like I'm almost surprised it's as big as it is, because the top 3 heroes are all BJB. So BJB doesn't have a mech? Wasn't OD as a mech? Yeah.
May missed something.
What
Need a new
is
stats,
this?
man.
I mean,
Jokes.
I think that's the first time that we've seen May get something wrong, so we can give him that one. I mean,
now Phoenix looking to make something happen on the side. X-Rax has now initiated. The vacuum is in. How much damage can they do before that BKB wears off? Now all the illusions are gone, and that's a dead spin from the ODLT. This is a huge team fight. 4 heroes down already. The back wall was there, and it just didn't accomplish anything. Now they're getting pushed back, and this looks like Rax for BJB this time.
well, let's take a look at the buyback quickly. Let's see who can actually get back into this. Well,
Nope.
that's just the Darkseer can buy back, and he's alive at the moment, so it doesn't really matter. And they can definitely Rax here, and this changes things. I mean, they're still definitely going to struggle against those 2 side lanes pushing in, but...
And the 4-second stun, bit of a misplay there from Phoenix. He kind of imprisoned the wrong person there. He's going to be able to solo Drew fairly easily with the item build that he has. He's going to get a monster kill middle. The fortification's used. 18 seconds that they have to worry about. Even then, I don't feel like they worry about a spin at all. So they're going to have to wait the full 30 seconds, I feel. They could go for GG or... Yeah, they can go for GG here.
10 up in 7 seconds.
But does it matter?
If they do this, they're probably going to lose.
Sheep back in line. Okay, so they're backing out.
I think this is the right call. They don't have Sandy's Eclipse up just yet. It's got a huge cooldown, and it made such a big difference in that last fight. I mean, one thing to point out is that X-Rax has been pretty much devastated by that Sandy's Eclipse, and they picked up a Rax, and that's going to alleviate some pressure. What it does mean is they no longer have to focus as much time on middle, and they can sort of focus a little bit more attention to these side lanes. And if they pick up one more, it's pretty huge. I mean, they'll be on even terms as far as things go. And I mean, BJB, once again, got to be said, they're in a difficult position, but this is game on, and probably the best position I think BJB have been in for quite some time.
Yeah, since about the what's that, the 20-minute mark, the first time that they're on the same level of gold. 10,000, and that's a 10,000 gold lead, by the way. Gold loss for them.
Yeah, it's... I mean, they're only about, what, 7.5k behind at the moment? That's And look at the XP, my word.
Oh my.
The XP is a different story. 25k advantage. I mean, what's worth more? I gotta say, that's a lot of stats being plowed into that XP. We may be just witnessing one of the most awkward and messy, but significant comebacks that I've seen in First Division in a very long time. Maybe one of the biggest ones we've seen. I think, if I recall, Vienna had a pretty huge comeback in First Division, but game on. Game on.
Oof. Necronomicon picked up level 1 from Coddle. I feel if this was out slightly earlier, and if it was like level 3 by now, then that Gyrocopter would be suffering a lot from his flat cannon. Purely because the damage output that Necronomicon is, and then mana burn is also nice. But now I don't think he's going to worry too much. There is a smoke though, so for the first time it feels like BJB going on the very aggressive and aren't waiting to find something, but they're looking for something here. And Phoenix is leading the charge. Right behind him is Switchblade. Decent awareness. They're all backing off. Hold up is Krax. Krax, he's gonna get caught out. Where's and BKB has popped failure. There's only 4, 3, 2, 1. Now it's off, and he's just gonna get rampaged down. He has popped the bomb and drops the cheese as well. This could be a turnaround. He gets disabled, and that's him dead. Dominating is the Phoenix. Godlike. Dorky now dropping low as well, and he's gonna be should be able to get away. No, Phoenix is right behind him. There goes the imprisonment. He's just gonna wait this out. He still has Sanity's Eclipse. How does he still have it? The Ice Path is dropped just about him sometimes. It's gonna be one more hit, and that's gonna be him dead. Back at base though, there is an engagement. Puck taking a lot of damage. He falls dangerously low. He's trying to get that Rax down. He gets the Rax, and that's possibly all that they wanted. They're gonna be falling back now. And what else is happening? Gyrocopter and Rubik are the only ones to have fallen. Where did they fall? And how did they fall?
Are you talking about the guys back at the base?
The Gyrocopter.
The Gyrocopter was a little bit unfortunate. He popped Manta style, and I think he expected that would remove the stun from Dreamfall, but it didn't seem to do so, and he actually walked out. He was just taking a huge amount of damage from a massive amount of creep pressure that was placed in the middle. Some of the mega creeps that actually moved towards that middle area, and a fairly big push coming in as well from mid. So he just got destroyed by creeps actually, which is pretty surprising. And it was really nice awareness though from Keep the Light, because that was actually his doing. He's got the boots travel up, so he actually TP'd in, called Zenom out, and it worked out really well for them. So, I mean, although I think we were all getting really excited to see a comeback, it's just so hard to come back out from this position. I mean, one ranged barracks standing at the moment. It does prevent them from getting that full mega creep, but
when full mega creep comes, oh my, it's gonna be painful.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, it's got to be said that when you're up against mega creeps, those are like little heroes charging down at you. I mean, at the moment we look at these creeps, they're sitting at 800 HP already. It's pretty huge, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 1200 HP as soon as they do get the full mega creeps.
And what I like is that they're still applying pressure to the side lanes, and they are looking to take Rosh as well. So Rosh has not been contested once this entire game, and I don't feel like they should be contesting it. Do they even know that it's happening? They have to know that it's happening. Now their base is getting pressured. Oh my, they back off from Rosh. Oh wait, it's just gonna be Coddle TPing someone in, right? Like they can backstab. They can really backstab.
Yeah, they see Zero Maths. In fact, got the DD. He's going to pick up the mega creeps, but this is going to be a base race, surely.
Where's... No, it's TPing back. It's not a base race. They're going to try to defend it. And now all the Mantas popped, and Manta do. Manta's illusions do a lot of damage, and here it comes. Switchblade versus Krax. Switchblade's taking too much damage. He falls back, but the cooldown was there, and now the wall pops as well. They're keeping Sven out of the fight for as long as possible. The silence does fall on Zenomot this time. Krax now sitting at the edge of that line, and he's going to fall down. There's no buyback. Phoenix now taking a lot of damage. Phoenix gets caught out and on there, but it's 1-for-1 trade. The Gyrocopter for the Sven. A lot of damage going out there. Could look at picking up one more hero. There goes Zenomot trying to make something happen. There's a very low HP Azrael and a very low HP Phoenix, and that'll be the end of that. So, wow.
One tower down though. It's they are up against mega creeps now. It's
that was all in.
Yeah, it did feel like it was all in, and they didn't commit to it, and I think wisely so, because they were pretty much done there if they did go for it. So I mean, from this position, it's just. Yeah, was I right? 1200? Yeah.
1,000.
A little bit higher, in fact.
I mean, Rubik is
it's
sitting on
rough,
1.6.
Yeah, it's impossible already for the sport to clear this out.
Courier has been killed.
What?
Wait, what?
Yeah, the courier was here.
Oh, I was killed by a shooter creep.
Oh, really? Where was it?
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh.
saw Azrael actually moving towards it. I'm not sure what he was trying
Yeah.
to pick up there.
Was that an item on it? It was a hyperstone.
It was probably a hyperstone.
Yeah, hyperstone for Azrael.
And Assault Cuirass would have really helped him out as well. I mean, that's a nice pickup. It really does reduce so much of damage that Sven's doing, and that's really costly.
5 minutes. I don't think this game's gonna last. The game won't
No,
last.
I think that's Hyperstone's probably lost to Oblivion, but can they hold out? I mean, it's got to be said, if they do find an opportunity just to get into that base, they can tear apart that Rax. I mean, and that throne so quickly. Only one tower standing. It's
But they
But,
don't
I mean-
have a coddle to TP them in.
Well,
So they literally
look,
have to
I'm-
walk or smoke.
I'm a little bit foggy on the actual rules regarding creep skipping, which is very particular because obviously there's a lot of questions around these backdooring rules and whatnot, and the definition of backdooring is something that can only really be accomplished by the likes of Wisp. I don't think Furion can do it anymore, but it's the actual teleporting into an enemy base and dealing damage. But creep skipping is another question, because that's simply just walking your team behind it. So that's kind of their option, but of course, you fighting against backdoor regions, another story. I think what they need to do is probably pick up a boots of travel on the gyrocopter and use their actual team to like push into mid walls. Gyro just pushes back the creep wave for long enough. Once they push and try to take that throne down as quickly as possible. It's so hard to come back from this. I've been playing Dota for around about 10 years, and I can count on one hand how many times I've come back from mega creeps, and it's not easy.
But the problem is that the gyrocopter is not dealing any damage. I mean, look at these mega creep. They just aren't falling. Like, and this is where the Manta is pretty useless. Like if he picked up the MKB first and then went for a different item, this could be a very different game.
If there was ever a time to pick up a rapier, it's now.
Yeah, I agree. This, at the moment, I believe earlier it wasn't the time purely because they were accumulating a lead. But now that they are behind and that they have nothing, like, they are literally just camping their base and trying to do what they can against Mega Creep. But, I mean, if you want to Divine Rapier up, you have to Divine Rapier up now.
Yeah, it's also so difficult for him to actually farm it, because, of course, Mega Creep's doing such a reduced amount of money, it's kind of a big deal.
Sitting on 300 CS and probably about 0 gold from that, because I'm pretty sure a lot of that is from Mega or Super Creep.
Oh, by the way, that courier's back, so Assault Cuirass is now completed up on Azrael as well.
I'm kind of disappointed by JnBn not pushing to end. Well, now
I think they were just accumulating some cash, yeah.
But what items do we finish up? Shivas
I'm not too sure,
hold
but,
up, we might see an engagement. BKB on Rubik casually popped very early there. He's just standing around now. Trax is going to go to town. He's doing a lot of damage. So Reality ripped away, and wow, so many heroes popping down. The Rubik and the Width. And there's a static field popping down there. Trax now just going to go ape on these illusions. The cooldown slightly north from there. Switchblade has refocused himself to the creep, and now Azrael going head to head with JnBn, but he's able to solo him along Phoenix, but that's just going to be Aegis. I don't think they mind Aegis
Phoenix getting popped at this blade. This time Switchblade will be able to get into the fight, but they're going for the throne. Can they stop this? That is the question. Extract stun, 2-man ice pop. Is this the end? The vacuum of 3. That is perfect. And that is the end of the game. Surely there's buyback on the Gyrocopter. Azrael, does he have buyback? There's buyback on Odie. Odie's back in the fight. Odie, one hit. The one hero. He's able to get another kill. He's not able to get that one. Now the imprisonment, the ice spot on one. So many buybacks happening. And now Darkseer getting into the fight as well. Phoenix picking up a triple kill. And Darkseer forced to get the hell out of here. Their throne has taken damage. It's still up there. Switchblade has a flak cannon which will take care of that. How did they defend that? How on earth did they defend that?
Buyback on Switchblade was absolutely crucial. What?
Droof called GG.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure this will be ignored. Like,
Early GG calls. How unmannered.
yeah, it's. I think with this, I just read the log here. I mean, there's no. Yeah, it's been a pretty quiet game. No banter between the two sides. Droof just called the GG, but I think.
It's probably just gonna be ignored.
I think he just expected the game was over and was calling the GG, but it's kind of. You're supposed to wait for the opposition, so yeah. And I think we use the international standard, which either your captain calls GG or 2 or more of your players. So it won't really matter regardless. So fortunately we won't have to see some bizarre.
Look at the catapults though. This is
just
GG now. Like, where's the Gyrocopter? Where's the Gyrocopter? Gyrocopter now teleporting. No, he doesn't have TP. They're actually chasing a kill. Gyrocopter, you need to get back to base, but you don't have a TP. You don't have anything. These catapults are going to finish off this game. They each do 56 damage, but that is enough. The Radiant's Ancient now under 800 HP. This is the place to watch now. Dropping lower, it's gonna it's gonna get cleaned up, but the supports can't hold this. Crack sport Shadow Blade, that's interesting. Azrael now caught out, they choose to back off now. These can you really fight without anyone there? Now Hastrun on Azrael, those Manta illusions are dead. Vacuum, Reality Rift Drax, now gonna Shadow Blade out of there rather, and the Blink, and the Throne at the base is kind of taking a lot of damage, and now if Phoenix coming in late again, the Throne is sitting at 400 HP, the carries are just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Phoenix trying to solo, there goes the big ulti, he's gonna be able to pick up Takiro, that's not really the kill that he wanted. Puck's gonna finish that off. What on earth did BJB just do?
No, this is over. Look at base, look at base.
What on earth did BJB
This time we will
just
see
do?
a GG called.
What on earth did BJB just do?
Nah, it was just a move of desperation. They didn't know quite where to go at that point, and I mean, gotta be said, very messy game at times, but definitely an exciting matchup to cast. And gotta say, I always feel after matches like these, you know, BJB put so much into trying to pull this game back. Are they going to recover from this and turn out a game 2 with a lot of fire and angst and be able to take down JnBn and pull out that draw, or will we see a team that's defeated and going to struggle to compete at all? So yeah, pretty awesome. We'll see you in game 2.
Shoutouts at the end of game 2. So for now, we're just gonna take a short break. Then
there's one most important one though. We have to do it.
Go man, go.
Yes. There we go. Cool. Let's see you guys in game 2.